everyone, I'm your host Hannah of the Doing the Orton podcast, and on this episode I interview the corrupt mastermind Ray Rosas. This interview took place a few weeks ago at the Wrestling Guy store in Huntington Park, California. A big thanks to David for letting us use his store again. Now, please comment, like, and subscribe. Now, let's get into the podcast. Out the podcast.
Oh, that's cool.
You use your phone to...
I use my phone.
Really?
Yeah, my only podcast was done through my phone, through the speaker app.
Wow.
It works pretty good.
Very clear.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's just us in my car, like sitting in the front seat. That's what I call the office.
That's what we used to do before we had a recorder before this, but we kind of upgraded to.
Yeah, this is cool. I mean, but I use the speaker app and I pay like $5 a month. But you have limited storage. Like you only have like 100 hours of storage. Here you have this. You can have as much storage as you want.
Thank you for being on my podcast today.
You're very welcome. Are we recording already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know we were recording yet. Why didn't you tell me?
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't even give me like an intro. Hey, welcome to Doing the Orton podcast with Ray Rosas.
Wait.
Oh, okay. Go for it. Let's do it. Let's start.
Okay. So, hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Doing the Orton podcast. And today I have a very special guest, the corrupt mastermind, Ray Rosas.
Yay! Thank you for having me. Yes, and you mean special episode in the sense? Oh, hey. Oh, good. We're getting a little bit of spatter of applause, like special, like cool, like. All right. Okay.
There's usually no one here when we do this, so
Oh, yeah,
we usually don't get that applause.
Yeah, we get a live studio audience today. This is good. This is what we call a town hall podcast. Yeah, we have an audience here. So what's up?
So let's get started.
All right, hey, we'll jump right into it.
So, were you a fan of wrestling growing up?
I very much was a fan of wrestling growing up. I became a fan of wrestling when I was. Wait, how old are you?
I'm 10.
You're 10. Yeah, we're about the same age. I was 11, and the first thing I remember because my uncles watched wrestling a lot. So I used to watch some Hulk Hogan and Earthquake when I was a little kid, but I didn't become an actual wrestling fan myself on my own until I saw The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels in the casket match at Royal Rumble 1998. That was so cool because it was like the whole thing with Kane. Kane was just debuting, so Kane was just coming up, and he was Undertaker's brother, and I remember watching back in the day, kid. You probably don't remember. But back in my day when I was a kid, they had on Saturday mornings and sometimes Sunday mornings they would have these like live wire or TV television shows, and it'd be like half hour long, and they show recaps from what happened on Raw, and then they would hype the pay-per-view if it was later that day. So that I was watching one of those. And they were like, I remember going to my dad and begging him, like, please, can we order the Royal Rumble? It's so cool. And that was the one that Stone Cold Steve Austin won. And that from that night on, I was a wrestling fan. Ever since then, I watched it every Monday because it was Monday Night Raw.
So who were you a fan of?
Well, I loved Shawn Michaels, of course. As cliche as now, everybody's favorite wrestler is Shawn Michaels. But I loved Shawn Michaels. I loved The Rock. I thought The Rock was funny. Stone Cold was like everybody's favorite wrestler too at the time, and he was one of my favorites too. Undertaker, all the guys that were at the top at the time. In 1998, that was the best time to be a wrestling fan because then you also had WCW, and then I loved Eddie and Jericho and Dean Malenko, Rey Mysterio. Man, that was fun. I wish I could go back to being a kid and watching wrestling like that again. Luckily we have the network and you just watch that all over again, but nothing will beat that time of trying to sneak, my mom would come in every once in a while because I had to pretend to be asleep, and then I'd turn the TV back on to watch the end because I wasn't allowed to stay up till 11 or 10 whenever Raw was ending. But yeah, it was fun, good times.
Okay, so were one of the matches that you talked about, the ones that kind of got you into wrestling, were those one of your favorite matches?
I They were influential to me. Like I said, the
Okay.
casket match was really good because I remember, like, of course it's not so much the wrestling that was really good that got me hooked, but it was like the storyline stuff and all the over the top theatrics. So like when Kane had set the casket on fire with Undertaker inside of it, like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? Like, because the pay per view ended with the casket on fire, and I'm like, what happened? So I'm like, we gotta watch it tomorrow. So it's stuff like that. It's all those type of moments that stuck with me more than the actual wrestling matches. But one of my favorite matches, like, I don't know, one of my favorite matches of all time has to be like The Rock versus Chris Jericho at No Mercy 2001 when Jericho finally won the big one. When he beat for the WCW title, and then of course like Pat O'Connor versus Nature Boy Buddy Rogers, like 2 out of 3 falls match. That's one of good. Like you probably never even heard of that match, but it's one of my favorite matches because it was like really ahead of its time. Man, there's so many to name. I like the John Cena Shawn Michaels 1 hour match in London. You may have seen that one, but they wrestled for like 58 minutes in London, like just out of nowhere. That's one of my favorite matches too.
Okay. How did you get started in wrestling?
How did I get started? Well, when you're a fan, like you mess around playing with your friends. When you're younger. I started back. Don't tell nobody, but I started backyard wrestling when I was 16 years old, and just messing with my friends. And a lot of my friends kind of grew out of wrestling, but I never did. Like I was always a fan. So I would look up wrestling schools regularly, but back in when I started looking up wrestling schools was like 10 years ago. So the internet wasn't as advanced as it is now. Like so we had MySpace, maybe not barely getting MySpace, right? So Facebook was hardly a thing, and there was no Twitter, so there was so a lot of
really social media.
Yeah, no social media. So like whatever you looked up on Yahoo. And that's what I use. I didn't even use Google. I used Yahoo. So whatever you find on Yahoo is what you had. And a lot of these websites were old. A lot of these schools didn't even exist anymore. Because the one that always came up the closest was Slammers, and Slammers had closed down like a good 10 years before I even started wrestling. So I would always look up wrestling schools, and EWF was always one that popped up. It was just so far away, because I lived in Lancaster in the Antelope Valley in the high desert. So I lived an hour and a half from LA, and then having to go from LA another hour and a half to San Bernardino to train, or to take the long way around to the 138. But you may not even know what those freeways are, but it was really far away, and I remember a lot. Being a young kid, I had no money, and it was really expensive. But once I found I actually was kept. I would search regularly. I would always search like pro wrestling school, stuff like that. And I found Santino Bros Wrestling Academy, and I found it. Later that day, I called. Nobody answered. I called again. Nobody answered again. Somebody called me back. A few minutes later, I set up my orientation to go to see the training facility for the next day, and then 1 week later, I started my training. I was 21, 22 at the time. A long time ago now.
Okay, so who is your first trainer then?
Of course, there was Mongo Santino, there was Angel, the Hardcore Homo. These are all like former XP. Like Angel and Mongo, funny enough, were trained at Slammers. So I ended up getting a little bit of Slammers training, even though I was late to get there. But a lot of these guys were also XPW wrestlers. So I don't know if you've ever heard or yeah. But that stuff was like the ECW of, if not a little crazier and more ultra violent. But there was Mongo, there was Supreme, there was BC Killer, there was Joey Chaos, and every once in a while, like we had a few other trainers come in. I know we had Aaron Aguilera come in a couple times to train with us. Los Luchas were some guys that trained me too. They actually helped me a lot later on in my career too with some of my footwork. Helped me get better in the ring. But those are some of the fun, those are, looking back, those were the fun times. But when I was in the moment, those are some of the scariest times, because I would be scared going into training. It was like a weird, excited, scared feeling, because you're excited because you're going to go do some pro wrestling training and you love wrestling, but then you're scared because we got to do squats and push-ups, and we're going to run a mile and do this other stuff. And like, I'm pretty athletic, I guess, in a sense, because I'm just really skinny. But besides that, I'm not very strong, and at least I wasn't when I was younger. But I wasn't very strong, and I wasn't very athletic. I was just skinny. So there would be times like, okay, I'm really excited, but I'm kind of scared of what we're gonna do. I wonder what we're gonna do today. I wonder what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a lot of squats and push-ups and rolls and stuff, or are we gonna get chopped? Are we gonna get beat up? Because a lot of times when you start off, you're just getting beat up by the trainers, yeah, and you're getting beat up by a lot of the more experienced students. You're running miles, you're doing duck walks. So like by the end of training, I'd drive home and I'd just be sore, like I couldn't even move. I was walking like Frankenstein. My chest all bruised up, or I had a busted lip or a black eye, and I had to like go home. And then I'd go home and then shower, take a nap, and then get dressed and go back again the next day and do it all over again. It was fun. It was some fun times.
Who was your first match against?
That's well, my very first match that I've ever competed in was a battle royal. So it was for a company called Hybrid Prowrestling. It was April 4th. And I was working as the cameraman because I was still paying some dues as a young greenhorn. I was working as a cameraman, and then later on, after intermission, I had to change into my wrestling outfit, and then hop into the ring in the battle royal, wrestle in the battle royal, and then after I got eliminated, I had to go back and get dressed, and then record the rest of the show. Yeah. But my first like real match was on my 23rd birthday. It was at a company called Mexican Wrestling Federation over in Boyle Heights. And it was me and Famous B taking on Steve Payne and Seville Alvarez. I think he was the rookie 88 at the time. It was a tag match, 2 out of 3 falls. Famous B was more experienced, and everybody else in the match was much more experienced. And they kind of carried me and guided me through it, and I had a blast. And from that point on, we were wrestling every Sunday at that venue for MWF, Mexican Wrestling Federation. So we were always in the undercards. So we were being a young talent, training a couple times a week, and then being able to wrestle every week and on a show in front of a crowd. Was able to accumulate a lot of experience in a very short period of time, and that's very important. I always try to tell people, if they get a chance to wrestle every week, and they should train consistently, and try to get on the shows, because that's why people don't have that opportunity, that luxury. But I always try to say, just wrestle as much as you can, or try to get as much experience. So that's
Always try to get better and better.
Yeah, you get better. The more you do it, the more you immerse yourself. It's like you're trying to learn a new language. You have to do it, consistently. More repetition. When you're trying to fix your, trying to learn golf, you try to work on your golf swing. You go, what do? You practice. Practice makes. Well, I don't like saying practice makes perfect, because nothing can be perfect. You always need to work. So practice makes progress. You'll be, the more you practice, you'll be better than you were yesterday.
Before.
Yeah.
Okay, so throughout your career, you have teamed up with Peter Avalon a lot. How did that partnership get started?
It was funny how that started. It's me and Peter were first opponents. I looked at Peter when we first met, we were at very different stages in our career. We both started roughly around the same time. He probably started about a year, maybe a year, a couple months before me. But he was hot. He was a hot young upstart. He was a hot rookie, right? And everybody was talking about Peter Avalon, and I was like, oh, I want to. And us at Santino's, we were like black sheep at the time. Yeah. So we were all good. We were just kind of waiting for a chance to break out or wrestle guys like Peter. So we wrestled each other at EWF, and I was cruiserweight champion at the time. It was our very first match ever, and we wrestled and we had a great match. And Justin Borden, who was our referee, he came with both of us. He's like, you guys have fantastic chemistry. Like, you guys, that was a great match. It's like, because that was the first time we'd ever wrestled, even touched each other, and we had this really great match. And Justin recognized, Peter and I both recognized it too, but Justin was the one that was like, you guys have great chemistry. You guys should work together more. So we had a couple matches here and there, and it kind of came out in this not necessity, but it kind of just happened on accident. where we were working on the Championship Wrestling Hollywood tapings, and he was involved in the Standard faction, which was like Joey Chaos, Adam Pearce, and Austin Aries. Like he was in there, and then I'm like on the jobber squad. I'm just getting beat up and losing to guys, and so then he needed backup, and it just kind of worked its way to there. So we were just like, we weren't teaming officially yet. We were just kind of being in 6-man tag matches or working together, like having his back in his matches when he was feuding with Ryan Taylor, and it was, and we, like, I think we were unsure, he was unsure that I wanted to be a team, and I wasn't sure he wanted to be a team, because we were like, we on both sides of it, we both thought we wanted to be singles guys. We wanted to be singles wrestlers. So we never really approached until like one night. We were like, hey, we should do this tag team thing. And it was until we started going to PWG when we recognized like we should start being a tag team. Because when I debuted at Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, he was my tag partner along with Freddie Bravo, or Fidel Bravo as he's known now. And me and Peter, since we had that chemistry, we knew it was there. We were working together more in PWG on our side, and in the team we were doing more tag moves, and we just had like, he knew what I was thinking and I knew what he was thinking, and stuff we were doing in the tag match without having to call stuff. We were clicking. So when we were at the taping and they were like putting us together more, like, so we were trying to push like we should be a team, and I'm like, okay, I'll get I just had matching color gear that he had already, so we would just wear the same color. Mm-hmm. So we started off wearing blues, and then we were red, and we were struggling to find a tag team name. Yeah. Let me tell you, like we had some good ideas for some tag names. We would text each other all the time, going back and forth trying to figure out a tag name, and we couldn't decide. And any ideas we did have, like promoters didn't want to use it. Like they hated the name. And I think it was kind of like an offhanded joke that we made, or on Twitter, something about, because he's PPA, right? Yeah. When he says he's PPA all day, Pretty Peter Avalon PPA. So then I just put like, we could be PP Ray, like, because it was all about like Brad Jelena and like and Benifer, the celebrities that just threw their names together when they were a couple. So we were just like, it'll just be PP Ray, and the fans started chanting it. But we were still just known as Pretty Peter Avalon and Ray Rosas, but the fans were chanting PP Ray, and next thing you know, all it takes is one promoter to put a name on a flyer, and next thing you know, it's stuck with you forever. So yeah, we had a promoter put PP Ray versus so and so, and referring to us, and then our name stuck. And to tell you the truth, we hated that name. We did. We hated it. We wanted to be called Sexual Assault. I don't know if that's not very PG. And looking back on it, yeah, it wasn't a very good name. But that's what we hated. PP Ray. We hated that name, but we loved the team. So we stuck together. It's like for like 2 solid years, just always just teaming everywhere. And it wasn't until like recently when we started like branching out more back into singles work, and then every once in a while we'll bring the team back together to do some fun stuff. That was some fun stuff, fun times.
And PP Ray was born.
Yeah, PP Ray was born there. Oh man, we still hate that name. We still hate that name. But it's a brand, like it became a brand, and that's how the fans recognize it. So we had to run with it. We can't just change your name. Because the fans knew us as PP Ray, and we started getting booked, another outside the state and other promotions, bigger promotions. Like they wanted that name.
PP Ray. Mm-hmm. So, what is hate, and how did it begin?
Ooh, this is the $1 million question right here, huh? I want the listeners to know right now that it's on the record that she is wearing a hate T-shirt as we speak. I'm not. I'm wearing a button-up. Hate, man. When you dedicate so much of your life doing one thing, right? And it used to make you happy, right? And then it stops making you happy. And then it's not fun anymore. And you have no reason or purpose to do it anymore. You really learn the definition of hate right there.
Yeah.
The amount of time that I dedicated into professional wrestling, I could have become a doctor. if I, the amount of time I dedicated in training and wrestling, I could have gone to college, gone to medical school, and become a doctor. But I chose to be a professional wrestler because I loved it. And when you're questioning your life choices, it's a place I hope you never go. I hated being there. It was just a tough time, and a lot of my friends felt the same way. A lot of my close friends, the ones that I confided in, like Rico Dynamite, Tito Escondido, Pretty Peter Avalon, professional Peter Avalon now. I confided in them with my feelings, and they all felt the same way. We hated how we felt about wrestling. We hated how the business was being perceived out here in Southern California. We hated how the business was going, and we hated not having fun anymore. It's like I said, when you dedicate as much time as the most precious commodity we have in life is time. We can't get any of it back ever. Every passing moment we have, we use it up and it's gone. That's why I really cherish this particular moment that we're having right now. But when you're living your life as a professional wrestler and you're not having fun anymore, I was always taught when you're not having fun anymore, you should quit. And I was this close. But a light bulb went off in my head. It was like, well, why don't you just have fun again? Why don't you tell everybody what's wrong? Why don't you show everybody what's wrong? And, when I got, this gets real serious, gets real sad. When I got kicked out of Santino Bros Wrestling Academy, you get kicked out of your home, you're banished, you're exiled. Well, what do you have left except the ones that are with you, your friends? And we banded together, and we made hate, because that's all we had left was hate. And it held us together, and it made us stronger. It's sad that's how it did it, but that's what had happened. And next we're having fun again. A lot of us are reinvigorated. Look at Che, Latino meat. That's one of the biggest examples of what hate has done, transformed him and brought his fire back. And myself, just having fun again and watching my friends have fun. We brought in Mondo Vega, and Mondo Vega is having a blast again because he was on the same thing, was spinning his wheels, and now we're grouped together and we have fun and we spread the hate. It's just having a blast, and when we're having fun out there in the ring, I know the fans can see it and they could feel it, and then now they have fun. You have fun. You have a blast. I see it.
EWF. Yeah. Out of the wrestling shows we see you at.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, just go out there and have fun, and have and entertain like we were trained to do and supposed to do, is entertain the fans and fans above everything else, But we still need to have fun. If an actor is in a movie and he's not having a good time, he's having a miserable time, he's gonna, he's not gonna make a good movie, is he? Mm-hmm. He's not gonna work very hard. So that's what hate is. That's what hate started.
Okay.
People always ask what hate stands for, like, because it's got the abbreviations. Yeah. We don't know. That's right. We don't know. We don't know what it means. It's a secret. It's top secret.
I recently found out that you are a trainer and you train wrestlers. Mm-hmm. Where have you been currently training?
Well, I used to train a little bit at Santino Bros with a few here and there, just as like a guest trainer or whatever. But then when I went to UEW, I became a trainer for them, and then I was training over there at the old Clella Arena, that where UEW used to run and a lot of other promotions used to run in East LA. When that shut down, I got contacted by Millennium Wrestling, Millennium Wrestling Academy, and they run Millennium Pro Wrestling over in Moore Park. Okay. So they contacted me, and I started running weekly classes there every Wednesday, and it's fun because that also was key to helping me have fun again. Was helping younger talent guys, or helping green guys that are breaking into business and helping them out and giving them some insight based on my experiences, because everybody's experience is different, so you're always going to learn something new from a different person. So that's why I always recommend for any wrestlers, just learn from everybody that you can. If we're out here in Southern California, we have We have a whole bunch of people to learn from. We have a lot of people that are local. People that have been in the business a very long time. So yeah, we just try to pick up knowledge from anybody and everybody. I can learn something from a first day guy, because they may do something that may put on a light switch for me. But I enjoyed teaching, and I enjoyed being a coach, and that kind of helped me, ease in, and I like to prepare myself to become a coach, because I know in a couple years I'm probably going to end up retiring from wrestling, and just strictly being a coach. Except I try to be real, because I don't think I'll be getting any major contracts for any major companies anytime soon, at least as a wrestler. But maybe as a coach, maybe as a lot of people are getting hired to be trainers and coaches at the performance center. So maybe that's something that I could look into. So I just try to keep an open mind. We're okay? All right, we're okay.
Making sure it was on.
There's a lot of good material. We would hate to lose it, yeah. Because like I said, time is the precious thing.
So, who has been your favorite opponent?
My favorite opponent is Peter Avalon.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's also my tag team partner. But I've loved wrestling Tito Escondido, Rico Dynamite. Chris Cadillac is someone I have a lot of chemistry with, someone that I could put matches together with real well. Andy Brown, I just started wrestling him this year, and some of my matches with Andy, all of the matches with Andy have been really good to great. I wrestled the Hobo this year for the first couple times, and our series of matches have been really good. This year I've had a lot of since I've been revitalized, I feel like, because last year I was just at UEW, so I made myself kind of exclusive to them. But this year I've done the opposite, so now I'm like everywhere else. But overall, through my entire career, I'd have to say Peter Avalon is probably my favorite opponent. Famous B has always been a good opponent. We used to wrestle each other hundreds and hundreds of times when we were younger. Tito and Rico, but now they're my partners too. Yeah. Douglas James was a good one. He was I would have loved to wrestle him again, but now he's exclusive to PCW. B-Boy. I wrestled B-Boy tons of times, and all of our matches have been great. So if I've wrestled him multiple times, it's because we've had good matches. Yeah. So anybody I've wrestled a bunch of times, Johnny Yuma was something I always wrestled a lot. We always had we had a good feud with those Rock Nest Monsters versus PP Ray. We had so many matches. Oh, man, I guess they say because of our chemistry, Peter and I, since we were good partners and better opponents, and so I think that's it. There's probably a bunch of people I'm forgetting the name, and they're probably getting their feelings hurt. What we got next?
Okay, well, I really enjoyed your matches with Andy Brown, at EWF.
Oh yeah,
they're really cool.
Oh, I'm glad you did. I enjoyed them a lot. I really when I saw Andy, when I first met Andy, I was like, okay, let's see what he's got. Because he was the hot young rookie for at the time for EWF, and he was in line to get the big push. Mm-hmm. So me, I guess I'm old school in a way that people could tell me that a wrestler's good, like, oh, this wrestler's great, he's good. But me, I have to find out firsthand. Like, oh, okay, well, I'll find out how good he is when I wrestle him.
Yeah.
So when I wrestled Andy, our very first match was at Covina, and man, we had great chemistry. We had we were connected, and we were able to put a match together with ease. And when I have those kind of matches, I know they're going to be good before we even go out there and wrestle. Mm-hmm. So when we wrestled there at Covina, we wrestled again in two different tag matches, and then we wrestled in San Bernardino, where I suplexed him on a bunch of chairs on the floor. So, but I've always had good. I would love to wrestle him again. I want to know, I know that he doesn't even have the belt anymore, so that doesn't even matter that he doesn't have the belt anymore. I want to wrestle him again just for pride.
Is there a wrestler out there that you would like to face?
Ooh, there's a bunch. There's a bunch of wrestlers I like to face. Let's start with people local.
Okay.
Let's start with. I named a few not too long ago. Let's go Brody King. Starting off with Brody King. I've never wrestled Brody King. We're gonna this Saturday at AWS will be the first time we'll ever touch inside in a professional match. It's going to be me, Rico, and Tito versus him and Tyler Bateman and Super Beast, I think, is the replacement. Anyway, but yeah, Brody King would be one. Mike Camden, the son of a gun who put out his Champion of Beards shirt. After I put out my King of Beards shirt, he made it personal with one post. So Mike Camden, he's on the list, and he's on a dangerous list to be on, the hit list. Who's a bunch? Ryan Kidd. Never wrestled Ryan Kidd. He's very good. I know he's very good. Been a big fan of his work. I'm wrestling Mikey O'Shea on Friday, so he's going to be knocked off the list of guys that want to wrestle. There's Dickie, of course. I know you guys have been pushing for that one. I'm hoping it happens when he comes back. Because when he comes back from his tours, man, he's going to be even better than he was before when he left. So that's going to be, again, a test.
Part 2.
Yeah. Oh man, who else? So but then if we go further out, I guess I want to wrestle guys like Adam Cole and Chris Daniels.
Oh yeah.
You know, I think I'd have really good matches with them. Who else? Rocky Romero. I've never wrestled Rocky, and we've teamed once, but I've never wrestled Rocky Romero. So I'd like to get a good test with Rocky Romero. There's a bunch of people. I'd wrestle anybody really, but those are the guys I think I'd want to knock off my list.
Okay, so we're getting to the end here.
Oh, we are? Oh man.
Want to talk some more?
Yeah, we talk.
Oh,
you know.
that's all my questions. Okay.
All right. Well, what else you got?
Well, do you have any upcoming more indie shows?
Well, I have Millennium Pro Wrestling this Friday in Moore Park. I'm wrestling Mikey O'Shea, first time ever matchup. Those matches are always my favorite when we wrestle someone for the first time because I get bored very easily. So if I'm wrestling a person over and over again, even though if we're having good matches, like I'm wrestling B-Boy a bunch of times or Peter a bunch of times, like those are what I call consider like easy nights because I know I can have good matches with them. But then when I wrestle someone new that I never wrestled before, especially someone that has like a lot of popularity or traction or I've seen come up in the scene, those get me excited too, even more excited because it's like, all right, let's see what we can do together. So I got Mikey O'Shea. Of course, on Saturday we have AWS.
I really want to go to that one.
So that one's gonna be a fun show. We're gonna be wrestling. I said it's gonna be Hate. So Tito Escondido, Ray Rosas, Enrico Dynamite taking on Tyler Bateman, Brody King, and Super Beast. You know, Taya's gonna be wrestling Ray's.
Yeah.
Peter's gonna wrestle SoCal Crazy. Che's gonna wrestle Hernandez. That's like those are the top 4 matches, and they bought my ticket. But I mean, I'm booked on the show. But if I wasn't, I'd buy a ticket. So if you're out there listening, go buy a ticket. That's it. I mean, I got Sabotage.
Oh yeah.
August 5th, I got Sabotage. It's me and Thunder Rosa. Stuff to send out a message to her to let her know that she ain't gonna be getting no easy night that night. It's gonna be beating her up. Matter of fact, I'm tell her right now, Thunder Rosa, if you're listening, you better pack a lunch, girly, because Ray Rosas is gonna take you on a trip. And win, lose, or draw, that's all I got. I got nothing. Win, lose, or draw, you and I are going to have a great match for the fans. Yeah. And I hate you, stupid face. And then, of course, we're on the Champs Wrestling Hollywood, and it comes on every Saturday at 4 o'clock on KDOC TV. And it's going to be branching out all over the nation on the CW network. So, and they tape like every other Sunday in Port Hueneme. It's a little far for a lot of people, but hey, you can watch it on TV. Yeah, I mean, what else you got? Give me some more questions. I'll answer.
More questions. Let me think here. Well.
Hey, did you pay for that Hate shirt? Rico Dynamite wants to know. Rico Dynamite wants to know. All right. Rico Dynamite wants to know. It's not my.
He pays for my shirt. So.
Okay, all right. Well, that's fine. Let's talk about bar wrestling.
Oh no.
Let's talk. Let me ask you about bar wrestling. When you were all of a sudden the biggest Cody Rhodes, the Bullet Club fan in the world, right?
I am a Bullet Club fan.
Oh.
I never expected these two to
Oh.
come together.
Oh, my heart.
I never expected
My
these
heart.
two to come together.
How could you do that to me? Betrayal.
I'm still a hate fan.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, my heart was broken that day.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What about Peter? Was he okay?
Peter was inconsolable. Or is it unconsolable? Unconsolable, inconsolable. He couldn't be consoled.
Okay.
He was so upset. Now, how was that? How did you feel? He picked you out of everybody in that entire building.
I was very excited.
Yeah, you got.
I wasn't even wearing a Bullet Club shirt. That I was very shocked.
He picked you out of everybody and he gave it to you and he brought you into the ring. That was a cool moment. Like I was excited for you when you were in there, and I was
Thank you.
so but yeah, that was that's one of those moments as a fan that I wish I had. But those are moments that hopefully you can hold on to forever. Whether you grow out of wrestling or not, you got in the ring with Cody Rhodes and me and Peter
And you, yeah.
and Joey, of course. Joey, yeah. But he threw a T-shirt that he was, and that's a man. You hold on to that. Don't be selling that on eBay.
Mm-hmm. It's my dad's size.
Oh, okay. Well, don't be selling that on eBay.
I already wore it.
So tell me, what was going through your head when that happened? When they brought you into the ring?
I can't even explain it. I was very shocked.
Yeah.
I was very excited.
Many
emotions were like running through my
people
head.
were rabid.
I
They
didn't
wanted that
know-
shirt, and then you got into the ring.
I didn't know what to think.
Yeah. And he tossed it
I
to
was
you.
speechless.
Did you take a picture with him later on? You didn't get a chance to take a picture with him?
No, he didn't come out.
You should have taken a picture with him and tweeted at him. He probably would have tweeted at you back.
I think my dad did.
That was such a babyface thing he did. Like me and Peter come out, and we're like, and it's just like kind of a surprise that Peter and I come out. We come out to the old Obsession theme song, and people are loving us. And then Cody Rhodes come out, and people just immediately forget about us. We were invisible to the fans right after that. And then Joey came out, and he did his thing, and that's actually one of my favorite matches recently because of that, because of just the reaction, the atmosphere that the fans had. They were wild. When Cody came out to the ring and the fans popped, they cheered. I had goosebumps because of the moment. And that's those like again that's something I won't forget because of the moment with the fans and the energy. Gave me goosebumps. The hair was standing up on end. It was a real good experience, and I was excited that you got to get a little memory out of it.
Well, like I said, I never expected you to fight Cody and Joey. I thought Cody was gonna fight Rocky Romero. Like during intermission, I did a podcast with Rocky Romero.
Yeah.
And like that match was before he said he didn't know who he was fighting.
Yeah.
So then I was like,
It was all up. It was all up in the air.
yeah.
It was all up in the air. I got my phone call that morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, yeah, you never know. As I said, life is weird sometimes, but wrestling is great.
Yeah. I love wrestling.
Yeah.
It's my life.
So how long have you been a wrestling fan?
A couple years, maybe about 3 years.
3 years. What got you into it? Like, what made you become the super fan that you are right now? Was it live wrestling like EWF, or was it like on TV?
First, it was on TV. So my dad ordered the network to watch some of the past WrestleManias. Mm-hmm. And when he was gone, I just kind of started watching it on my own. Mm-hmm. And that's how I kind of got
That brings a tear to my eye right now. It's great. It's great to hear that. So your dad is a wrestling fan?
Yeah.
He's a big wrestling fan,
yes.
Huh? That's good.
She actually got me back into it. I
Oh.
stopped watching. I was out of it for about 12 years.
You just got the network to catch up?
I got the network to watch WrestleMania 3 when Beefcake turned face to help Piper.
Yeah, to cut the hair.
Yeah, they had to cut the hair. That's why to watch it. And just that I left it alone. I was going to let it run out. She started watching it. She got into it on her own. And one day, one day I watched by myself. She wasn't there, so I watched the Hell in a Cell, Ambrose versus
Seth. Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool.
Huh.
I remember that match. I was so excited because it was two like former Shield members fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so excited for that.
They're teasing them to get back together.
Yeah.
Oh man, that should be fun.
Yeah, so it first kind of started with WWE.
Yeah.
Then we started going to EWF because EWF is like right by
Right.
our house.
Oh, it's local. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like right by our
There's
house.
nothing more fun than live wrestling. It's in a small atmosphere like that.
Yeah.
That's you're right up there. You go to a WWE show and you're way up in the, you pay tons of money, but you're like way up in the stands and you get to watch through the screen. But then there at EWF, it's like right there in your face.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
It's cool that like for independent shows, it's like you're a part of it.
You are part of it. Exactly. Yeah. No, you're big. The fans in an indie show are a huge part of it. They're almost, I would say, 75% of it, and the rest of it's wrestling and acting, I guess, or being a goofball or whatever your shtick may be. But the fans are a huge part of it, and like we I know I appreciate fans that come because they're paying money, they're paying their hard-earned money, and I know how hard it is to make money, to watch us do what we do, and pay for our shirts, and that's we appreciate that, we really do. So it's really exciting.
So,
did you ever watch? Did you watch some of the old WrestleManias with your dad, or? I want you to watch. I want you to watch because this is one of those like moments, like matches that have a moment. But watch Ultimate Warrior versus Macho Man Randy Savage retirement match at WrestleMania 7. Watch that match. The match is okay, but it's the stuff afterward that make it one of my most favorite moments of all time. So watch it. That's your homework.
okay.
And then I want you to report back to me and go, yeah, it was the best. So
Yeah,
it was, write it down. So the Ultimate Warrior, Macho King at the time. Retirement match, WrestleMania 7. But you kind of have to watch like WrestleMania 4 and WrestleMania 5 to really get the whole story.
Okay.
Like that's when they were doing like long-term stories. So like, start at 3.
Okay.
Here's what we'll say. Start at WrestleMania 3 with Macho and Steamboat, and then watch WrestleMania 4 in its entirety, and then watch WrestleMania 5 where the Mega Powers explode, and then watch WrestleMania 7. All right, there you go. That's the good stuff.
Okay. There we go.
Those are my So just like for me, wrestling's about moments and the moments that resonate within us, and that we remember and stick with us for a long time. That Cody Rhodes moment is going to stick with me for a long time, and hopefully it'll stick with you forever. And it's and every time I go out there, I look to make moments for fans to enjoy and cherish, and then that's how I build a legacy, and that's how I live on forever. In this little corner of the world that is Southern California.
So, EWF got me into indie wrestling. It
Okay.
got me watching indie wrestling and going to the shows.
Mhm.
So that's how I became this fan.
Yeah. So you went to Bar, you go to AWS. What are any other shows you go to?
We go to EWF and those that we go to. We try to go to at least one show every month.
Okay.
Let's see. We kind of go to the same ones all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to make our way out. Been to Millennium. Trying to think here.
You guys been to Millennium before? Like out the big one?
Yes.
At the Boys and Girls Club?
Boys and Girls Club, yes.
Yeah. They
One
don't.
time.
Yeah. Okay. Those are fun. One time we wrestled some guys from a YouTube show, and they drew like 500 people one time.
That's a lot.
And they trained for 1 week. These two guys that had no wrestling experience trained for 1 week, and then me and Mondo Vega had to wrestle him. Why do you laugh?
It just seems so funny.
It was a unique situation that we were put in. They were like, hey, these guys are trained for a week. They're bringing a lot of publicity to the company. We need you guys to go out there and have a good match with them. And we're like, okay, we'll do what we can.
Yeah.
Me and Mondo were just like jokingly looking at each other like, they put the wrong guys in charge of this one. Yeah, no, we did. It was a lot of fun. They ended up making a whole documentary out of it. So everybody got a good publicity, got a good rub out of it. So Hate got some TV time. So that's what it's all about. It's exposure. Got to get the exposure. That's why I'm on this podcast.
Going back to some indie shows I've been to.
Oh, yeah, let's go back to you. Let's talk about you. Okay, I'm sorry. I started talking about me again. What do you got?
Then one of my favorite shows was Sabotage
Okay.
at the EWF Arena.
Okay, the first
it was
one.
the
Yeah.
all women's one.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorites. I love watching all the women and stuff. Just like at AWS with you, with Hate, and a couple of other.
Were you there when we did the 5-on-5? Oh, I'm so sorry you were there. Sometimes we can get so vulgar there. At AWS, we did the 5-on-5 against the women. Yeah.
We were there.
So much wrestling.
When B-Boy was the referee?
No, that's not.
Oh no.
No, you weren't at that one then. Then you probably watched the most recent one where it was Mondo was team captain.
Was it Mondo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was the year before.
Oh, okay.
I was the team captain the year before when I had Hate.
Oh,
but then
okay.
this last one had like
Some
Mondo
other
and Pinky.
members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones that weren't in it. And then like Chris Cadillac, Ryan Taylor,
Yeah.
Mikey, I think Mikey O'Shea. But yeah, but still, like those that match is like an adult match.
Oh,
For it's,
Okay.
they get pretty raunchy. But
Okay.
so you go to AWS, EWF, and some Sabotage.
Yeah,
That's it?
we're going to the Sabotage where you're fighting Thunder Rosa.
Oh yeah, right. You mean the Sabotage show where I beat up Thunder Rosa and beat her, and
Hopefully.
then yeah, hopefully. Yeah. She's crazy.
Good luck.
She's evil. She just tricks everybody and thinks she's good. She's evil. She's the bad one. I'm the good one. I'm the hero in this situation. Right?
Okay. Good luck to you. And to Peter.
Yeah, Peter's
Raylan.
he's gonna wrestle Raylan. So it's gonna be war of the genders, and we're gonna. I mean, I don't mean to brag, but us men, we're stronger. We work harder. We make the money. We generally do everything a lot better.
Most of the time.
Not all the time.
Not all the time.
All the time.
Not all the
We
time.
probably the only thing we can do is cook and clean.
And that's when the girls come in.
Yeah, that's exactly when they come in. So you were there at the first Sabotage show. I was there to watch. It was good. I think Thunder wrestled Taya.
Yeah.
She wrestled twice that day. She was crazy.
Oh yeah, she wrestled as with Holiday.
Yeah, I'll still beat her up though.
Yeah,
I'll
actually,
wrestle-
I think we saw you there.
I was there hanging
Yeah.
around. I was there just being in the way. Just in everybody's way. That was a good show. I'm looking forward to my match with Thunder. I think I'll probably be about 5 minutes. I'll beat her up in about 5 minutes. Hopefully it won't it's not like a time when I said I was going to beat Douglas James in 3 minutes, and then we ended up going like a really long time, and then he almost beat me.
He almost.
Yeah, he didn't though. He almost did.
Okay.
Like it's going to be a lot easier than that with this match with Thunder Rosa.
Again, hopefully.
Because she's a woman. She's the girl, and I'm stronger, and smarter, and I have a better beard than
Okay.
her and Mike Camden.
Okay, I'll give that one to you.
What else? Well, let me see here. What other questions do I have for you? How long have you been doing these podcasts?
About a year.
Okay.
Yeah, first I started doing it with my dad.
Okay.
Then actually Melina was I think my first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we did that at the Long Beach Comic Con,
Oh.
and then we started going from there.
All right. And you had who else on your? I know you've had Ruby Reyes and
Oh,
Dickie.
it's hard to keep track.
What? So you don't keep track of all your guests?
I think you're number 18 or 19.
Okay.
I'm not sure. You're one of those two.
All right.
20?
20.
Oh, you're 20.
Where it all begins again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The last one, the most recent one was Jake Alice.
Okay.
Right? It was Jake Alice the one.
I used to do podcasts. I had the Rosas report, and I did it on my phone. So I just had at first they were just it's funny how it progressed, how it changed over time. Like it was just like me reporting stuff that was going on in Southern California, like wrestling. So I would talk about like, oh hey, this match has happened this past week. This match happened this past week. Here's what's coming up this coming weekend, and talk about storylines for people that they maybe not know. That's how it kind of started off, and then of course I would have topics that I would talk about, and I'd talk about that, and then I would just being goofy. And other times I would just like one of my podcasts was me singing other indie wrestlers' theme songs. But
that's what me and my dad always do. We don't even listen to music; we just listen to theme songs.
Yeah. Like so, I was singing Scorpio Sky's theme song. If I don't know the words, so I was just humming it on my podcast, and then I started having guests on it. So like I'm like I need to have guests because it's just me talking by myself. And I would keep my podcast like short. I'd keep like 15 minutes. So like because sometimes you get like there's good podcasts, like good long podcasts, like there's like Jim Ross and Steve Austin and Chris Jericho, and and then like a bunch of other like other people. But those are like people that you want to listen to. But then there's like other people out here that have podcasts that like they go on and on and on, and it's like, well, I don't want to listen to this. I kind of want to support somebody, and I want to listen to it, but I don't want to listen to you droning on for an hour, especially if you're talking by yourself like I was. So I would just keep it short, just do a 15-minute podcast, break it down in sections, like 3 minutes of this, 3 minutes of this, 3 minutes of this, and then always plug my stuff at the end. I'd always have the same intro. It'd be like, hey, welcome to the Rosas Report. This is your host, Ray Rosas. This is your host, local independent professional wrestler based out of Southern California, Ray Rosas. And that's how I would start every podcast, and then I'd end every podcast by all my Twitter and stuff. But so that's how. And then the format changed again. I interviewed Brody King after he won the Young Lions at APW, and then I interviewed Douglas James right before our match. But I thought that'd be like a good thing to do right before we wrestled, to have like a face-off. But I haven't done it in a long time. I just haven't been motivated, because that's why I started the podcast, because I wasn't wrestling. Like it was like I had no bookings, so I had a lot of time on my hands, so I was just bored, and I needed an outlet to get my creative energy out. So that's what I did. I started a podcast. So now that I'm wrestling a lot more, I just don't have time for podcasts and trying to find a guest. Like I could do it at the Hollywood taping if I would remember like to record one at the Hollywood taping while I have a wrestler there while we're backstage, and then I just never thought of it. I might do it this next time. Remind me. You gotta remind me.
Like that's how I started. Me and my dad would do it. My dad originally kind of wanted to do the podcast, and I was really scared. I was really nervous to do it. I'm like, what if I mess up? But then it started going from there, just me and him talking about like a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And we would go on matches. Some would be about 20 minutes. Some would be almost an hour.
Yeah.
They would kind of range in that time section. And then, like I said, I go to Comic-Con with me and my dad.
Mm-hmm.
I cosplay.
Okay. Did you go to San Diego Comic-Con?
Oh, no.
Oh, you guys didn't go to San Diego? Yeah.
I want to go.
Well, someday.
That's going to be...
There you go. It's on the bucket list.
Yep, that's the bucket list.
Every other, except
the big one.
We got the Long Beach ones and the Los Angeles one. So we were at the Long Beach Comic-Con, and David at his little kiosk thing, and he had Melina there, and that's when I first started doing it. And like I said, that's how I got into interviewing wrestlers.
That's cool. That's a heck of a pastime. You know what I mean? Like most kids have like a paper route or something. So you get a chance to meet wrestlers. It's really cool. I wish I had that opportunity when I was a kid. So you always said cherish it.
Yeah.
Love. These are gonna be memories you hold on to forever. It's great.